Hello, thank you for tuning in today. So today we're going to use the Let's Resin Magic Pour Eco Resin, and this is a powder. You apparently don't have to wear much PPE. It's rather safe to work with, but because it's a powder and I don't want it in my lungs, I did still wear a mask and gloves. So this is a 3-to-1 ratio, just like the other resins, the eco resins or eco pours that you get like Jasmonite or the J. Diction Resincrete. I think it's all the same, like a 3-to-1. So 300 grams of the powder is what I'm doing, and then 100 grams of water. So I have my little gram scale there, and I'm just weighing it out. And with these, you have a very short working time. So after you get it all mixed up, it looks like it's going to be clumpy, bumpy, but keep mixing. You don't have to worry too much about getting bubbles in there. It's a very thin consistency. I'm speeding up this video because it's kind of long because it takes me forever to get it to 300 grams exactly. So I'm adding the water, and then after I add the water, I do a good mixing, and it feels like it's going to be lumpy, but really it does. There's a point where it gets really smooth. And once it gets nice and smooth, you literally have 5 minutes to get this into the molds that you want to use. And it's a very thin consistency when you get it all mixed. And I thought it would work better with some of the molds that I had issues with resin that were really bubbly. So this little guy I've done with resin before, and there were so many bubbles, I decided to try it with this because it's so much thinner. I thought the bubbles would come out a little better. And then this one I had ready. I had a few other ones ready that I did as well. I mixed up some more. And then with this, you just let it sit and let it cure. You can demold it in like half hour, 45 minutes. I do recommend waiting as long as you can to demold. If it's still a little warm to the touch, just wait till it cools down all the way because it's very, very brittle. Especially with an intricate mold like this, you have to be super careful. And I did still get some bubbles. So the bottom of his sleeve there, I had some bubbles there. But actually it was less than the one that I did with resin. So the black one is the one that I did with resin, just regular resin. And the bottom of the sleeve there must just be a bad area for bubbles because they both gave me bubbles there. Shine some light on the situation here. And I do think that the Magic Pour actually did a little bit better with bubbles than the resin, so because it's a little thinner. And then this one is my little plant pot. I made this mold myself, so it's actually a candle that I thought was really cool. And with this, you can just take those edges off with sandpaper. You can sand it. It's hard. This stuff is really great. And this was about an hour or two later. I also made some other things. So this is a little sign. And it sort of feels like ceramic when you're done, when it's all cured and done. It feels ceramic, so I thought it would be cool to have a little ceramic sign. And of course, I did some skulls because why not? And I just love how this felt. It kind of feels like a little skull. And there must have been something in my mold, but I'm not too worried about it. But it has a great weight to it. It just made it look so cool. It kind of feels like a real skull, not gonna lie. So it's really a cool texture. And just look at that. I just love him. I just love these little skulls. They're so fun. Rawr. Anyway, I really like the weight of them. They feel good. Resin is really light, and this stuff had a little bit more weight, kind of like a ceramic, and I just loved how it felt with those skulls. So this is a little tea candle moldy thing. This is so hard to get out of the mold. Even with resin, it's very difficult. I didn't want to add any soapy water in there like you would with resin just because this is made with water and I'm not 100% sure it's 100% cured. So I didn't want to use water. So it was just me on the struggle bus, really. It ended up coming out eventually, but it just had to be strong and persevere. So there it is. It had a pretty nice color throughout. I did use the colors made specifically for eco resin. You really can't use any other types of colors for these because it does not look right. I've tried mica powder, I've tried the resin colorants, and it doesn't work. You do have to use the special colorants for the eco resins. And this kind of was weird. I don't know why the color did that. I must not have had it mixed well enough, but it kind of is interesting. And like I said, you can just sand these down and make them smooth. They do need some sort of sealant. So when you are done with these, in order to use them for anything, or if you want to paint them, you do need to seal it. So this one was one that my color didn't look great. I didn't mix up enough, so I had to do 2 pours on this one. And it's interesting. It's interesting, but I don't like how the color looked there. With these, you can just easily spray paint over it. And then with this one, I got an idea, like, oh, look at this. This kind of looks like terrazzo. And so I rolled this mold in it, and my idea was to use this and pour in some white and see how it looks and sand it down a little bit. Maybe it would look kind of terrazzo-y. I haven't done that yet. I'll make a video on that if I do. But yeah, this was kind of an experiment. I'm sure there's some cat hair in there, so I'm not sure it's going to work out. But here's some finished pieces that I did end up spray painting. So this one was the little mold, the plant pot mold. There's no drain holes in it though, so FYI for that. That's just regular gloss spray paint. I did just plain polyacrylic sealer on these. I just did a spray paint sealant. And then I painted this little guy black because I think they look scarier when they're black. I sanded down the little area of his sleeve so that it wasn't as noticeable that it was a bubble. And it actually looks great. And I spray painted him and then put a sealant, and that's it. And I did just start an Instagram if you want to take a look at that. There's my QR code. And please like and subscribe this channel. And thank you so much for watching.